As I look at 3D technology today and its use in orthopedics, I would evaluate it to be helpful both to the patient and the surgeon in 3 different phases. 1, all complex bony pathologies could be better understood by the patient and the surgeon if a 3-dimensional model is created. This model could be done by rapid prototyping based on CT scans of that area. This gives both the patient and the surgeon a chance to see and feel physically in 3 dimensions what is wrong with them. Either a bone may be deformed, a joint may be out of its place, the spine may be curved. So this is the first use, where a 3-dimensional model gives the patient and the family and the doctor a chance to discuss the problem. So this is counseling of the patient. Next, this model and the 3-dimensional data can be used by the doctor and his team to discuss and plan how best this can be corrected. That means planning a surgical exercise before actually doing it is the next stage, where this same 3-dimensional pre-operative planning can be used. Third, during the operation, these devices are available, these models are available, and planning of metal to be placed in relation to this, may it be a plate, may it be a rod, may it be a device which is going to fill in a gap, a void, all this can be planned. Biomaterials can be made such that they can fill in gaps. They may be made out of ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene, they may be made out of other polymers, they may be made out of hydroxyapatite, they may be other bioinert materials or biocomposites not yet available, silicon nitride, titanium alloy, all these tantalum, all these things put together. They may also be loaded with osteogenic, osteoconductive or osteoinductive material, which could be used as a scaffolding across which bone-to-bone healing could be planned. So this is an intra-operative planning and execution. So these are the phases in which a 3-dimensional imaging to be virtually created into a model can be used. As and when we have bioinert, biocompatible, osteogenic material available, these devices could be made implantable, where they could be put in temporarily or permanently in the human body after going through, of course, the ethics, etc., etc., and can be used over a long-term basis. These would be specific to that patient. Unlike a small, medium, large, it's like getting something made exactly to your size. It may be a bony defect in a tumor. It may be a ball, shattered hip ball during a fracture. It may be one vertebra of the vertebral column in the spine, either involved with fracture, infection, cancer. It may be some piece missing from you when you were born. Any one of these could be then incorporated and used for the patient. I think we need a much bigger platform. We need a platform where like-minded people come together. We as end users of your product can tell you what we desire, what we need, what we as clinicians find the necessity for. We don't know how to do it. You have to get the scientist, the biomaterial expert, and us together. And people who have knowledge of using technology and machinery to make this dream a reality. We as surgeons can only tell you that this is bone, this is soft tissue, this is isoelasticity of bone, this is what it is supposed to do, this is where the joint has to move, this is how it has to move. Next, how that particular material that is going to be made by you and the scientists put together will tolerate so many million cycles of loading over the next 10, 15, 20 years, that's got to be done by you. We can only say that if this goes in at the age of 50 and is going to bear body weight of 75 kilograms and the person lives to be 95, can it survive? So all that needs to be worked through a common platform. And I would want you to make a much bigger platform. I can get the orthopedic bodies of the city, the orthopedic body of the country, probably the spine society of the country and of Mumbai city, all together for an open discussion. And I'm sure that we can go ahead and have many more of these.